The Book of Job, chapter 37. At this also mine heart is astonied, and is moved out of his place. Hear the sound of his voice, and the noise that goeth out of his mouth. He directeth it under the whole heaven, and his light unto the ends of the world. After it a noise soundeth, he thundereth with the voice of his majesty, and he will not stay them when his voice is heard. God thundereth marvelously with his voice. He worketh great things which we knew not. For he saith to the snow, Be thou upon the earth, likewise to the small rain, and the great rain of his power. With the force thereof he shutteth up every man, and all men may know his work. Then the beasts go into the den, and remain in their places. The whirlwind cometh out of the south, and the cold from the north wind. At the breath of God the frost is given, and the breath of the waters is made narrow. He maketh also the clouds to labor, to water the earth, and scattereth the cloud of his light. And it is turned about by his government, that they may do whatsoever he commandeth them upon the whole world, whether it be for punishment, or for his land, or of mercy, he causeth it to come. Hearken unto this, O Job. Stand and consider the wondrous works of God. Didst thou know when God disposed them, and caused the light of his cloud to shine? Hast thou known the variety of the cloud, and the wondrous works of him that is perfect in knowledge? Or how thy clothes are warm, when he maketh the earth quiet through the south wind? Hast thou stretched out the heavens, which are strong, and as a molten glass? Tell us what we shall say unto him, for we cannot dispose our matter because of darkness. Shall it be told him when I speak? Or shall man speak when he shall be destroyed? And now men see not the light, which shineth in the clouds, but the wind passeth and cleanseth them. The brightness cometh out of the north. The praise thereof is to God, which is terrible. It is the Almighty. We cannot find him out. He is excellent in power and judgment, and abundant in justice. He afflicteth not. Let men therefore fear him, for he will not regard any that are wise in their own conceit. Job chapter 38. Then answered the Lord unto Job out of the whirlwind, and said, Who is this that darkeneth the counsel by words without knowledge? Gird up now thy loins like a man. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? Declare if thou hast understanding. Who hath laid the measures thereof, if thou knowest? Or who hath stretched the line over it? Whereupon are the foundations thereof set? Or who laid the cornerstone thereof? When the stars of the morning praised me together, and all the children of God rejoiced. Or who hath shut up the sea with doors, when it is issued and came forth as out of the womb? When I made the clouds as a covering thereof, and darkness as the swaddling bands thereof, when I established my commandment upon it, and set bars and doors, and said, Hitherto shalt thou come, but no further, and here shall it stay thy proud waves. Hast thou commanded the morning since thy days? Hast thou caused the morning to know his place, that it might take hold of the corners of the earth, and that the wicked might be shaken out of it? It is turned as clay to fashion, and all stand up as a garment. And from the wicked their light shall be taken away, and the high arm shall be broken. Hast thou entered into the bottoms of the sea, or hast thou walked to seek out the depth? Have the gates of death been opened unto thee? Or hast thou seen the gates of the shadow of death? Hast thou perceived the breadth of the earth? Tell if thou knowest all this. Where is the way where light dwelleth, and where is the place of darkness? That thou shouldest receive it in the bounds thereof, and that thou shouldst know the paths to the house thereof. Knewest thou it because thou wast then born, and because the number of thy days is great? Hast thou entered into the treasures of the snow, or hast thou seen the treasures of the hail, which I have hid against the time of trouble, against the day of war and battle? By what way is the light parted, which scattereth the east wind upon the earth? Who hath divided the spouts for the rain, or the way for the lightning of the thunders, to cause it to rain on the earth where no man is, and in the wilderness where there is no man, to fulfill the wild and waste place, and to cause the bud of the herb to spring forth? Who is the father of the rain, or who hath begotten the drops of the dew, out of whose womb came the ice? Who hath engendered the frost of the heaven? The waters are hid as with a stone, and the face of the depth is frozen. Canst thou restrain the sweet influences of the Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion? Canst thou bring forth Mazzaroth in their time? Canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons? Knowest thou the course of heaven, or canst thou set the rule thereof in the earth? Canst thou lift up thy voice to the clouds, that the abundance of water may cover thee? Canst thou send the lightnings, that they may walk, and say unto thee, Lo, here we are? Who hath put wisdom in the rain, or who hath given the heart of understanding? Who can number the clouds by wisdom, or who can cause to cease the bottles of heaven? When the earth groweth into hardness, and the clods are fast together. Job chapter 39. Wilt thou hunt the prey for the lion, or fill the appetite of the lion's whelps, when they crouch in their places and remain in the covert to lie in wait? Who prepareth for the raven his meat, when his birds cry unto God, wandering for lack of meat? Knowest thou the time when the wild goats bring forth their young? Or dost thou mark when the hinds do calve? Canst thou number the months that they fulfill? Or knowest thou the time when they will bring forth? They bow themselves, they bruise their young, and cast out their sorrows. Yet their young wax fat, and grow up with corn. They go forth and return not unto them. Who hath set the wild ass at liberty? Or who hath set loose the bonds of the wild ass? It is I, which have made the wilderness his house, and the salt places his dwellings. He derideth the multitude of the city, he heareth not the cry of the driver. He seeketh out the mountain for his pasture, and searcheth after every green thing. Will the unicorn serve thee, or will he tarry by thy crib? Canst thou bind the unicorn with his band to labor in the furrow, or will he plow the valleys after thee? Wilt thou trust in him, because his strength is great, and cast off thy labor unto him? Wilt thou believe him, that he will bring home thy seed, and gather it unto thy barn? Hast thou given the pleasant wings unto the peacocks, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth his eggs in the earth, and maketh them hot in the dust, and forgetteth that the foot might scatter them, or that the wild beast might break them? He showeth himself cruel unto his young ones, as they were not his, and is without fear, as if he travailed in vain. For God hath deprived him of wisdom, and hath given him no part of understanding. When time is, he mounted on high, he mocked the horse and his rider. Hast thou given the horse strength, or covered his neck with neighing? Hast thou made him afraid as the grasshopper? His strong neighing is fearful. He diggeth in the valley, and rejoiceth in his strength. He goeth forth to meet the harnessed man. He mocketh at fear, and is not afraid, and turneth not back from the sword. Though the quiver rattle against him, the glittering spear and the shield, he swallowed the ground for fierceness and rage, and he believeth not that it is the noise of the trumpet. He saith among the trumpets, Aha! He smelled the battle afar off, and the noise of the captains, and the shouting. Shall the hawk fly by thy wisdom, stretching out his wings even toward the south? Doth the eagle mount up at thy commandment, or make his nest on high? She abideth and remaineth in the rock, even upon the top of the rock, and the tower. From thence she spieth for meat, and her eyes behold far off. His young ones also suck up blood, and where the slain are, there is she. Moreover the Lord spake unto Job, and said, Is this to learn to strive with the Almighty? He that reproveth God, let him answer to it. Then Job answered the Lord, saying, Behold, I am vile. What shall I answer thee? I will lay mine hand upon my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I will answer no more. Yea, twice, but I will proceed no further.